Providence Municipal Court, Tuesday morning, 9:47 a.m. The heavy wooden doors swing open. The sharp click of expensive sneakers echoes against marble floors. Each step a percussion note in the sacred silence of justice. She enters with eyes glued to her phone screen, thumbs dancing across glass with practiced precision. Madison Elizabeth Pierce, 17 years old, walks into the courtroom like she's walking into a coffee shop casual. Distracted, entirely elsewhere, designer ripped jeans that cost more than most families spend on groceries for a month. A crop top that whispers wealth. Louis Vuitton purse dangling from her shoulder, its logo catching the fluorescent lights like a beacon of privilege. Her hair falls in perfect salon-crafted highlights, the kind requiring monthly appointments at $200 each. White AirPods nestle in both ears, visible beneath blonde waves that frame a face of studied indifference. She's chewing gum. The slow, deliberate rhythm of her jaw communicates a single message: boredom. This is Madison Pierce, senior at St. Catherine's Academy, where annual tuition runs $40,000. Daughter of 2 attorneys at prestigious downtown firms. Owner of 47,000 TikTok followers who consume her content about rich girl problems and designer hauls. And right now, she's treating a court of law like it's a DMV waiting room. Before we show you what happens when entitlement glides with authority, subscribe right now. We're racing towards 700,000 subscribers, and 96% of you still haven't joined. Judge Stories. If this story about respect, consequences, and why some lessons can only be learned the hard way resonates with you, if you believe courtrooms are sacred spaces regardless of your age or bank account, leave a comment below. Because what happens to Madison Pierce in the next 20 minutes will change her life forever. Here's the question: when did we raise a generation that treats rules as suggestions and respect as optional? What's about to unfold in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom proves that some lessons only arrive through pain. Madison Pierce is about to receive an education that money cannot buy. The bailiff's voice cuts through the courtroom murmur like a blade through silk. Madison Elizabeth Pierce, case number to 0-5 TF8847. Madison doesn't look up from her phone. Her mother, seated in the second row wearing a Chanel suit, whispers urgently, "Madison, Madison, that's you." The girl sighs an exaggerated sound of inconvenience and shuffles toward the podium. She doesn't remove her AirPods. She doesn't pocket her phone. She certainly doesn't stop chewing her gum. Judge Frank Caprio looks up from his paperwork, his expression carrying the characteristic warmth cultivated over 37 years on the bench. A patience born from seeing humanity in all its forms. "Good morning, Miss Pierce. Please approach." Madison moves forward, still scrolling. The courtroom waits. Everyone can see the screen's glow reflected on her face, illuminating her features. In cold blue light, "Miss Pierce, I need your attention, please." Madison glances up for half a second. "Yeah, what?" The gallery reacts immediately. A woman in the third row gasps softly. An elderly man shakes his head. Even the court reporter's fingers pause over her keyboard. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change, but something in the room shifts, the barometric pressure of justice building. "Miss Pierce, you're in a court of law. I need you to put your phone away and remove your earphones." Madison sighs again, louder this time, and pulls out one AirPod, just one. The other remains firmly planted. She doesn't put the phone away. Instead, she sets it on the podium before her, screen still glowing with notifications. "Can we make this quick? I have a nail appointment at 2. The words hang in the air like smoke after a gunshot. Judge Caprio leans back slightly, studying her. Several people in the gallery exchange knowing looks. This girl has no idea what she's walking into. "Miss Pierce, you understand why you're here today." Madison picks at her manicure. "Speeding ticket, whatever. My parents will pay it." The judge opens the file before him. His voice remains calm, almost gentle, the calm before thunder. "This isn't just a speeding ticket, Miss Pierce. You were clocked at 85 miles per hour in a 35 zone. That was a school zone. During dismissal time." Madison shrugs, a gesture so casual it borders on obscene given the context. "So, I didn't hit anyone." Judge Caprio's eyes narrow almost imperceptibly. "You nearly hit a crossing guard, Mrs. Chen, 68 years old. She had to jump out of your way." Madison's phone buzzes. Without thinking, without even pretending to care about the gravity of the moment, she picks it up and starts typing. "Your Honor." Her mother stands abruptly from the gallery. "I apologize." Madison is under tremendous stress with college applications and mom. Madison doesn't even turn around. "Stop. This is so embarrassing. Can you just pay the fine so I can leave?" The courtroom goes silent. Not the silence of attention, but the silence of shock, the kind that follows when someone crosses a line. they don't even know exist. Judge Caprio stands slowly. It's a deliberate movement. When Judge Caprio stands, people in this courthouse know something serious is about to happen. Miss Pierce, he says quietly, I'm going to need you to put that phone down now. Madison looks up, finally registering something in his tone. She sets the phone down but doesn't turn it over. The screen continues to glow between them like a small rebellion. Judge Caprio remains standing. Remove your other earphone, please. Madison rolls her eyes, actually rolls them, in full view of everyone, and removes the second AirPod. She drops both into her purse with exaggerated movements that scream inconvenience. Happy? The word is delivered with such contempt that even her own father, sitting beside her mother, drops his head into his hands. No, Miss Pierce, Judge Caprio says, I'm not happy. And before we go any further, I need you to understand something. This courtroom is not a suggestion. The law is not a suggestion. And the respect you show here is not optional. Madison stares at him, jaw still working that gum in slow, defiant circles. Whatever you say, Judge. Judge Caprio sits back down, his expression shifting from patient to firm, steel wrapped in silk. Miss Pierce, I'm looking at your driving record. This is your 6th citation in 18 months. 6 tickets since you got your license. Madison inspects her nails, picking at the edge of her gel polish. So, my parents paid all of them. That's what money is for, right? The gallery erupts in whispers. A man near the back mutters something about entitled kids. A woman clutches her purse tighter. Shaking her head in disbelief, Judge Caprio raises his hand. The room quiets instantly. No, Miss Pierce, money is not for erasing consequences. Money is not a shield against accountability. Your previous violations include 3 parking citations on school property, 1 reckless driving charge that was reduced, and 2 speeding tickets. Every single one was paid immediately by your parents. Have you personally paid for any of these violations? Madison shrugs. Why would I? I don't have a job. I'm a student, and whose fault is that? The judge asks, his voice carrying a weight that makes even the bailiff straighten his posture. Madison doesn't answer. She's pulled out a compact mirror and is checking her lipstick. Miss Pierce, put that away. Madison snaps the compact shut with a click that echoes through the silent courtroom. This is ridiculous. Can we just get to the part where you tell me the fine? I literally have places to be. Her mother stands again, voice trembling. Your Honor, please. She's just nervous. She doesn't mean to be disrespectful. Madison spins around. Mom, oh my God, stop talking. You're making this worse. Sit down. Her mother's face goes pale. She sits slowly, and for the first time, you can see tears forming in her eyes. Her father won't even look up. His hands are clenched so tightly his knuckles have gone white. Judge Caprio's voice drops lower, quieter, but somehow more powerful. Miss Pierce, I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to listen carefully. Every person who comes through this courtroom has a story. Some are struggling to make ends meet. Some made genuine mistakes. Some are here because life dealt them a hard hand. And then there are people like you, people who treat the law like an inconvenience. People who believe their parents' money makes them untouchable. Madison finally turns back to face him. Are you done with the speech? Because I've heard this before. From principals, from counselors, from my parents. It's always the same lecture about responsibility and consequences. And you know what? I'm tired of it. The courtroom is so quiet you can hear the clock ticking on the wall. Judge Caprio leans forward. You're tired of it. He repeats the words slowly, letting them settle. Mrs. Chen was tired too. Tired from working a 12-hour shift. Tired from standing in the cold, helping children cross the street safely. And then you came around that corner at 85 miles per hour and nearly ended her life. Madison scoffs. But I didn't. I didn't hit her. So why are we acting like I committed murder? Because intent matters, Miss Pierce. Because recklessness matters. Because the fact that you got lucky doesn't erase what could have happened. The prosecutor, a woman in her 40s with graying hair and a weathered expression, that speaks to years in the system, stands. Your Honor, if I may, we have Officer Rodriguez here to testify she was the responding officer. Judge Caprio nods. Please proceed. Officer Rodriguez takes the stand. She's a 15-year veteran, her uniform crisp, her posture military straight. After being sworn in, the prosecutor begins. Officer Rodriguez, can you describe what you witnessed on the afternoon of October 3rd? The officer opens her notebook, though it's clear she doesn't need it. She remembers every detail. I was parked 2 blocks from Franklin Elementary School, conducting speed enforcement during dismissal between 2:45 and 3:15 p.m. When children are leaving the building, At approximately 2:57 p.m., I observed a black BMW M4 traveling at a high rate of speed northbound on Elmwood Avenue. The vehicle was approaching the marked crosswalk where Mrs. Chen, the school crossing guard, was helping students cross. What happened next? Officer Rodriguez's jaw tightens. Mrs. Chen had stepped into the crosswalk with her stop sign raised. There were 3 children waiting to cross. The BMW didn't slow down. Mrs. Chen saw the vehicle coming and had to jump backward. She dropped her stop sign. One of the children started crying because Mrs. Chen fell when she jumped back. The crossing guard is 68 years old. She could have been seriously injured or killed. Madison's phone buzzes on the podium. Without thinking, operating on pure instinct and entitlement, she picks it up. Judge Caprio's voice cuts like a blade. "Miss Pierce, put that phone down." Immediately, Madison looks up, startled. "What? It's just a text." I said put it down. Madison sets it down, but her face shows pure defiance. "God, okay. Calm down." The judge's expression darkens. "Officer Rodriguez, please continue. Did you pursue the vehicle?" "Yes, Your Honor. I activated my lights and siren." The BMW continued for another 3 blocks before pulling over. When I approached the vehicle, the driver, Miss Pierce, was filming me on her phone. The prosecutor pulls up a tablet. "Your Honor, we have the body camera footage. May I play it?" Judge Caprio nods. The courtroom screen flickers to life. The footage is crystal clear. Officer Rodriguez approaches the driver's side window. The window rolls down, and Madison's face fills the frame, phone held up, recording. "This is so going on TikTok." Madison's voice comes through the speakers. "Officer Karen is power tripping because I'm young and pretty." Officer Rodriguez's voice is professional, controlled. "License and registration, please." Madison in the video sighs dramatically. "You know who my parents are. They're attorneys. Like, actual lawyers. You're making a huge mistake. License and registration." Madison tosses her license at the officer. It falls on the ground. The officer picks it up without comment. "Miss Pierce, do you know how fast you were going?" Madison in the video laughs. "Fast enough to get away from this boring town. You were traveling 85 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour school zone. You nearly struck a crossing guard and endangered children." Madison's response makes the entire courtroom gasp. "She didn't get hit though, so what's the problem? You people are so dramatic. My dad is going to destroy your career for harassment." The video ends. The courtroom sits in stunned silence. Judge Caprio turns to Madison, who is now decidedly less confident than she was 5 minutes ago. "Miss Pierce, do you remember saying those things?" Madison shifts her weight. "I was upset. People say things when they're upset. Do you remember threatening the officer's career?" "That's not a threat. That's just facts. My dad knows people, Judge." Caprio's patience is wearing visibly thin, though his voice remains controlled. "Miss Pierce, intimidating a police officer is a serious offense. But we're not done yet." He turns to the prosecutor. "What else do we have?" The prosecutor stands, tablet in hand. "Your Honor, we have evidence from Miss Pierce's social media accounts that we believe is relevant to this case." Madison's eyes widen. "Wait, what? You can't use my TikTok. That's private." "It's public, Miss Pierce," the prosecutor responds. "You have 47,000 followers. Your account settings show every video is set to public. That's not private by any definition." Judge Caprio nods. "Proceed." The courtroom screen changes. Madison's TikTok profile fills the display. The username reads at Madison Pierciafel with a verified checkmark. Her bio says, "Living my best life. Born blessed. Stay mad." The prosecutor clicks on a video dated the night before this court appearance. Madison appears on screen, sitting in what's clearly her bedroom. Behind her are shelves filled with designer handbags and shoes. She's talking directly to the camera. "Got court tomorrow. For literally nothing," she says, making air quotes with her fingers. "Going to be so annoying. Some old crossing guard is mad because I drove near her or whatever. Pray for me, lol." She makes prayer hands and the video ends with her blowing a kiss. The courtroom is silent. Even Madison's mother has covered her face with her hands. But the prosecutor isn't finished. "There's another one, Your Honor. Posted 3 days after the incident." This video loads. Madison is sitting in the driver's seat of her BMW. The camera is angled to show both her face and the car's luxury interior. "When you almost hit a crossing guard but your parents are lawyers," she says, flipping her hair. The text overlay reads, "Above the law #, scroll across the bottom, #, no conseil." Quince's hashtag DADDYS money hashtag untouchable hashtag rich girl problems. The video ends with her making a peace sign and winking. The gallery erupts. Someone says, "Are you kidding me?" Another voice, angry and sharp, "She's mocking that poor woman." The bailiff calls for order, but the damage is done. The room has turned completely against Madison. Even those who might have had sympathy before now stare at her with undisguised disgust. Madison's face has gone pale. She tries to speak, but Judge Caprio raises his hand. "Not yet, Miss Pierce. We are not finished, Your Honor, if I may." A soft voice comes from the gallery. An elderly woman is standing. She's small, barely 5 feet tall, with silver hair pulled back in a neat bun. She wears a crossing guard uniform, the fluorescent yellow vest still on over a simple cardigan. She's holding a stop sign. "This is Mrs. Chen." Judge Caprio's expression softens immediately. "Mrs. Chen, please come forward. Would you like to address the court?" Mrs. Chen walks slowly to the witness stand. Her hands tremble slightly as she's sworn in. She sits carefully, the stop sign resting against her chair. "Mrs. Chen," the judge says gently, "can you tell us what happened that day?" Mrs. Chen's voice is quiet, accented with the careful English of someone who learned the language later in life. "I have been crossing guard for 12 years. Every day I help the children cross safely. It is my job. I love the children. Some of them, they go to same school as my own grandchildren. That day, October 3rd, it was dismissal time. Very busy. Many cars. I step into crosswalk with my sign up. I look both ways, like always. Then I see the car coming. Black car. Very fast. Too fast. What did you do, Mrs. Chen?" Her voice breaks slightly. "I try to wave my sign. I think maybe driver doesn't see me. But car keeps coming. Not slowing down. I jump back. But I am not young woman anymore. I am 68 years old. I fall on the ground. My sign drops. The children scream. One little girl, Emma, she starts crying because she thinks I am hurt." Mrs. Chen wipes her eyes with a tissue. "I was so scared. I thought, this is how I die. Hit by car doing my job, trying to protect children." The courtroom is absolutely silent now. You can hear Mrs. Chen's breathing, shaky and uneven. "Were you injured?" the prosecutor asks gently. Mrs. Chen nods. "I bruised my hip from falling. My doctor says I am lucky nothing breaks. But the injury that doesn't go away is here." She touches her chest. "In my heart, I cannot sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see the headlights. I hear the engine. For 1 week I cannot go back to work. The school has to find substitute crossing guard. My granddaughter asked me why I'm crying at dinner. How do I explain to 8-year-old girl that someone almost killed her grandmother, and that person does not care?" Madison shifts uncomfortably at the podium. Mrs. Chen turns to look at her directly. "I see your videos. My granddaughter, she shows me. She has the TikTok too. She sees what you post. Above the law, you say. No consequences. My granddaughter asked me, 'Grandma, why is that girl laughing? Doesn't your life matter?'" Mrs. Chen's voice rises slightly, emotion finally breaking through. "I work 3 jobs to raise my family. I come to America with nothing. I work every day. I pay my taxes. I follow every rule. And you have everything. Nice car, nice clothes, nice family. But you have no respect. Not for me. Not for the law. Not for life itself." Judge Caprio leans forward. "Mrs. Chen, what would you like to see happen here today?" Mrs. Chen looks at Madison again. "I don't want revenge. I am not an angry person. I just want her to understand. Life is precious. Every life. Even mine. Even the life of old immigrant woman in yellow vest. I matter too." The words hang in the air with devastating weight. Madison is staring at the floor. Her mother is openly crying now. Her father has his arm around his wife, but his face shows something between shame and rage. Judge Caprio speaks softly to Mrs. Chen. "Thank you for your courage in coming here today. You may step down." Double quotes. Mrs. Chen rises slowly, picking up her stop sign. As she walks past Madison, she pauses. Madison still won't look up. Mrs. Chen says quietly, just loud enough for the microphones to catch, "I forgive you. But you must forgive yourself by doing better." Then she returns to her seat in the gallery. Judge Caprio turns his attention back to Madison. "Miss Pierce, did you hear what Mrs. Chen said?" Madison nods without speaking. Her jaw is clenched. Her hands grip the podium. "I need you to answer verbally for the record." "Yes," Madison whispers. "I heard. And what do you have to say?" Madison takes a breath. She looks like she's wrestling with her self-pride, fighting against something deeper. Look, I'm sorry she got scared, but I didn't actually hit her. So this whole thing is kind of blown out of proportion. The courtroom explodes again. Multiple voices shout in disbelief. Judge Caprio's gavel comes down hard, 3 sharp strikes. Order. Order in this court. He stares at Madison with an expression that could freeze water. Miss Pierce, that is possibly the most tone-deaf, callous response I have heard in my 37 years on this bench. Madison's face flushes red. Her carefully maintained composure is cracking. I don't have time for this guilt trip. I said I'm sorry. What else do you want? You want me to cry? I'm not going to cry over a mistake. Her mother stands abruptly. Madison, please. Stop talking. Just stop. Madison whirls around to face her mother. No, Mom. You and Dad always tell me to stand up for myself, right? That's what you say. Don't let people push you around. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm standing up for myself. Her father finally speaks, his voice strained and exhausted. Madison, this is not the time. Sit down and be quiet. Madison ignores him completely. She turns back to Judge Caprio, and something dangerous flashes in her eyes. The last thread of self-preservation is snapping. This whole thing is ridiculous, she says, her voice rising. You're treating me like a criminal because I'm young and you're like old and don't understand how life works now. The gallery gasps collectively. The bailiff takes a step closer, sensing where this is heading. Judge Caprio's voice is wrapped in ice. Miss Pierce, I strongly suggest you stop talking right now. But Madison is past the point of listening. The entitlement that has insulated her for 17 years is now her worst enemy. Everyone speeds. She continues, hands gesturing wildly. Everyone uses their phone while driving. The only difference is my parents can actually afford a good lawyer. And you're mad about that. You're mad that we have money, and you can't just bully us into whatever you want. A man in the back row stands up. That's enough. Someone needs to teach this kid some respect. The bailiff motions for him to sit. Judge Caprio never takes his eyes off Madison. Miss Pierce, he says quietly, and the quietness is more terrifying than shouting. You need to stop talking right now. This is your final warning. Madison laughs. It's a short, bitter sound that echoes in the silent courtroom. Or what? You'll find me more. My parents will just write another check. That's how this works. That's how it's always worked. You can't actually do anything to me. Judge Caprio stands again. This time, there's no patience in his movements, only purpose. Miss Pierce, you are perilously close to being held in contempt of court. You understand what that means? Madison's phone buzzes on the podium. The sound is obscenely loud in the tense silence. Without thinking, running purely on instinct and the muscle memory of privilege, Madison picks it up. Her thumbs move across the screen. She's checking a text message, while Judge Caprio is speaking to her, while being warned about contempt, while the entire courtroom watches in frozen disbelief. The judge's voice cuts through the moment like a guillotine. Put that phone down. Madison glances up, distracted. What? It's just Kayla. She wants to know if I'm still coming to. I said put that phone down. Now. Something in his tone finally penetrates. Madison sets the phone on the podium, but her face is pure defiance. God. Okay. Relax. It's not that serious. Judge Caprio's next words are measured and deliberate. Miss Pierce, you have just demonstrated complete contempt for this court, for the legal process, and for every person in this room. Madison crosses her arms. Whatever. Are we done here? Can I go? No. The judge says. We are not done. In fact, we are just beginning. Madison rolls her eyes. And in that moment, she makes a decision that will define her immediate future. She pulls her phone back up, holds it at arm's length, angles it to capture her face, and takes a selfie. Right there. In open court. While Judge Caprio is addressing her, she makes a duck face. The phone's camera sound chirps in the silence. The courtroom erupts. People are standing, shouting. Her mother screams Madison's name. Her father lunges forward, but the bailiff blocks him. Judge Caprio's gavel crashes down repeatedly, but the chaos has already exploded. Bailiff, Judge Caprio's voice rises above the din. Confiscate that phone immediately. The bailiff moves toward Madison, hand extended. Madison clutches the phone to her chest. No, you can't do that. That's my property. Give me the phone, Miss Pierce. Madison backs away from the podium. This is illegal. You can't just take my stuff. The bailiff reaches for the phone, and Madison actually tries to pull away, creating a brief physical struggle that ends with the bailiff firmly removing the device from her hands. Madison's voice goes shrill. Give it back. I need that. My whole life is on that phone. Judge Caprio's voice is colder than anyone in the courtroom has ever heard it. Miss Pierce, you have just committed contempt of court in the most blatant manner I have witnessed in my entire career. You understand the gravity of what you've just done. Madison's bravado is wavering now, reality starting to seep through the cracks. I want my phone back. That is not your concern right now, the judge responds. Your concern should be the fact that you are about to face serious legal consequences. Madison's voice takes on a mocking tone, but there's fear underneath it now. What are you going to do? Give me a bigger fine. My parents are literally attorneys. They'll appeal whatever you do. My dad golfs with judges. You think you can scare me? Judge Caprio leans forward, his hands flat on the bench. I don't need to scare you. Miss Pierce, I need to hold you accountable. Madison laughs again, but it sounds hollow. You wouldn't dare do anything real. This is just theater. You find people, they pay, everyone goes home. That's how this works. The judge's next words are quiet, but they land like thunder. Bailiff, prepare to take Miss Pierce into custody. The words don't register at first. Madison blinks. What? I'm placing you in contempt of court, Judge Caprio says clearly. The penalty will be determined momentarily, but you will be taken into custody immediately. Madison's face goes white. Wait, what do you mean custody? Like arrested? Her mother is sobbing openly now. Her father is on his feet. Your Honor. Please, she's just a child. She doesn't understand what she's doing. A child, the judge repeats, looking at Madison's father. Mr. Pierce, your daughter is 17 years old. In a few months, she'll be legally an adult. She drives a $50,000 car. She has nearly 50,000 people following her online persona. She presents herself as mature enough to mock the legal system publicly. She cannot be a child when it's convenient, and an adult when it suits her. Madison's breathing is getting faster. This is insane. You can't arrest me. I didn't do anything. You took a selfie in my courtroom while I was addressing you, Judge Caprio states flatly. You used your phone multiple times after being told to put it away. You showed contempt for a victim who nearly lost her life because of your recklessness. You mocked this court on social media. You threatened a police officer. And you have shown absolutely no remorse, no understanding, and no respect. Madison looks around wildly, as if someone in the gallery will save her. No one moves. Mrs. Chen sits quietly, her face sad but resolute. Madison's parents are holding each other. The prosecutor stands with her arms crossed, expression neutral. The bailiff moves closer to the podium. Your Honor, please. Madison's voice cracks. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. The judge's expression doesn't soften. You've had multiple opportunities to show remorse, Miss Pierce. You chose defiance every single time. Madison sees the bailiff approaching, and panic floods her features. No, please. I'll do better. I promise. I'll delete the videos. I'll apologize. Please don't do this. Judge Caprio's voice carries the weight of 37 years of justice. Miss Pierce, you walked into this courtroom believing your privilege made you untouchable. You are about to learn a very difficult lesson. Actions have consequences. Wealth does not grant immunity. And contempt of court is not a figure of speech, it is a serious charge with serious penalties. The bailiff is beside her now. Madison looks at him, then back at the judge, and for the first time, real fear shows in her eyes. Please, she whispers. Judge Caprio's expression remains firm, unmoved. Bailiff, take Miss Pierce into custody. She is being held in contempt of court. The officer produces handcuffs. Madison's eyes go wide with genuine terror. Wait, what? You can't. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. The judge's voice doesn't waver. You had ample opportunity to demonstrate remorse, Miss Pierce. Instead, you chose mockery, defiance, and disrespect at every turn. No, please. Madison's voice breaks completely now. Mascara starts running down her cheeks as tears finally come. I didn't mean it. You were just what, Miss Pierce? The judge asks. Just being yourself. Just showing your true character. Just proving that you believe rules don't apply to you. The bailiff gently, but firmly takes Madison's wrist. She doesn't resist now. The fight has gone out of her completely. As the metal cuffs click into place, the sound echoes through the silent courtroom like a gavel strike. Madison's expensive purse falls from her shoulder and hits the floor with a dull thud. Designer sunglasses spill out across the tile. Her mother lets out a sob. Please, Your Honor. She's our daughter. She's never been in trouble like this. Judge Caprio looks at Madison's parents with something that might be pity. Mr. and Mrs. Pierce. Your daughter. has been in trouble exactly like this multiple times. The only difference is that until today, money made it disappear. That ends now. Madison is crying openly, her careful makeup destroyed, her composed facade shattered. What's going to happen to me? Judge Caprio sits back down, his hands folded. On the bench. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. You are being charged with contempt of court. For that charge, you will spend 48 hours in county juvenile detention. Effective immediately. Madison's knees buckle slightly. The bailiff steadies her. 48 hours. In jail. In a detention facility. Yes, you will be processed. You will surrender your personal effects. And you will experience what happens when privilege meets consequence. But that's not all. The judge continues. For your original charge of reckless driving in a school zone, I'm imposing the maximum penalty. A fine of $1,500 which you, not your parents, will pay through employment. You will complete 120 hours of community service at Franklin Elementary School, working alongside Mrs. Chen as a crossing guard assistant. Your license is suspended for 6 months. You will complete a mandatory safe driving course and pass both written and practical examinations. And you will be on probation for 1 year, with monthly check-ins with this court. The gallery is silent, absorbing the weight of the sentence. Madison can barely stand. She's shaking, tears streaming down her face. Additionally, Judge Caprio says, you will write a formal, handwritten apology to Mrs. Chen, subject to this court's approval. You will remove all social media posts that mock this incident or the legal system. You will attend a victim impact panel, where you will hear from families affected by reckless driving. And you will understand that any violation of your probation terms will result in 30 days in juvenile detention. You understand these terms? Madison nods. Unable to speak. I need a verbal response. Miss Pierce. Yes, Madison chokes out. I understand. Judge Caprio's voice softens just slightly, not with sympathy, but with something closer to sad wisdom. Miss Pierce, I want you to understand something. This is not about punishment for punishment's sake. This is about giving you an opportunity that your parents' money has denied you your entire life. The opportunity to face real consequences. The opportunity to understand that your actions affect other people. The opportunity to become a better person than the one who walked into this courtroom today. Madison is led toward the side door by the bailiff. Her mother rushes forward, but the bailiff holds up a hand. You'll be able to see her after processing, ma'am. Madison looks back at her parents one last time, her face a mask of tears and terror and something that might finally be understanding. I'm sorry, she whispers, and it's unclear whether she's talking to her parents, to Mrs. Chen, to the judge, or to herself. The door closes behind her with a heavy metallic sound that seems to echo forever. Judge Caprio turns his attention to the still-packed courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, what you witnessed today brings me no joy. I've been on this bench for 37 years, and sending a teenager to detention is not something I do lightly. But justice cannot have two standards, one for the wealthy, and one for everyone else. One for the young and one for the old. One for the privileged and one for the struggling. The law must apply equally, or it means nothing at all. He looks at Madison's parents, who are holding each other and crying, Mr. and Mrs. Pierce, I want you to hear me clearly. Your daughter is not a bad person, but she has been set on a path toward becoming one. You have given her every material advantage, but you have failed to give her the most important gift. Parents can provide boundaries, consequences, accountability. The father nods, his face buried in his hands. The mother looks up at the judge with red, swollen eyes. What do we do now, Your Honor? Judge Caprio's expression is gentle now. You let her experience these consequences. You don't bail her out. You don't hire expensive lawyers to make this disappear. You let her sit in that facility for 48 hours and think about her choices. You let her work alongside Mrs. Chen and learn what dignity looks like. You let her pay her own fine and understand the value of money earned through work, rather than given without effort. And most importantly, you examine your own role in creating the young woman who walked in here today. If you're watching this, and you believe that respect for the law matters regardless of age or wealth, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment with your city, because this story has resonated everywhere from Seattle to Singapore. People everywhere are tired of watching entitled behavior go unchecked. The judge turns to Mrs. Chen, who has sat quietly through the entire sentencing. Mrs. Chen, do you have anything you'd like to say? The elderly woman stands slowly, leaning on her stop sign. Your Honor, I meant what I said. I forgive her. But forgiveness doesn't mean no consequences. My granddaughter is watching this story. All the children at Franklin Elementary are watching. They need to see that actions matter. That kindness matters, that life matters. I hope Miss Pierce learns. I truly do. Because the world needs good people, not careless people. Judge Caprio nods with deep respect. Thank you, Mrs. Chen. Your grace in this situation is remarkable. Court is adjourned. The gavel falls one final time. People begin to file out slowly, speaking in hushed tones. Madison's parents remain seated, holding each other. Mrs. Chen walks past them and pauses. She reaches out and gently touches the mother's shoulder. She will be okay, Mrs. Chen says softly. This is not the end. It is the beginning. Then she continues out of the courtroom, her yellow vest bright against the dark wood paneling. Epilogue 2. Days later, Madison Pierce walked out of juvenile detention. Reports said she was quiet, subdued, visibly changed by the experience. She began her community service the following week, standing beside Mrs. Chen at the crosswalk, helping children cross safely. Her social media went private. The offensive posts were deleted 3 weeks after her court appearance. Madison hand-delivered a 4-page letter to Mrs. Chen. Witnesses said both women cried as they embraced. Madison's parents enrolled the family in counseling. Her college applications were affected, but she was ultimately accepted to her second-choice school with delayed enrollment pending completion of her probation. 6 months later, Madison returned to Judge Caprio's courtroom for her final probation check-in. She wore simple clothes, no designer labels. She approached the bench with humility and respect. Your Honor, she said quietly, I want to thank you. That day, I thought you were ruining my life. Now I understand you were saving it. Judge Caprio smiled, the warmth returning to his face. How is Mrs. Chen? Madison's face lit up. She's amazing. She's teaching me Mandarin. I help her with her grandkids sometimes. I never understood what it meant to earn respect until I met her. The judge nodded. Miss Pierce, you came here as a girl who thought she was untouchable. You're leaving as a young woman who understands that being touchable, being vulnerable, being accountable, that's what makes us human. Go forward and do good things. Madison Pierce's story reminds us that justice isn't about destroying people, it's about rebuilding them. That consequences, when applied with wisdom, can transform lives. And that sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones we need most. Judge Frank Caprio proved once again that real authority doesn't need to shout. It just needs to be fair, firm, and unwavering. Where are you watching from? Comment below if this story resonated with you. Subscribe to Judge Stories for more incredible moments where justice is served and entitled behavior meets the accountability it deserves. Because in the end, the courtroom is the great equalizer where character matters more than bank accounts, and where judges like Frank Caprio ensure that the law truly is blind to everything except the truth.